Hello, this is Sarah Joseph at Acupuncture Access. I've got some acupressure points for you today for lower back pain. Obviously, doing acupuncture at home from a video isn't going to be as effective as if you come to see me in clinic, where I can get a real idea of the cause of your back pain and also do a physical examination of the meridians. The main meridian involved is the bladder meridian, which runs through the lower back. Actually runs from the top of the head and then back down your back, down the back of the leg, and ends on the little toe. But also, if we were to have a telemedicine session, then I'd be able to get more information which would help me to target acupressure points for you to use at home, and also show you how to use moxibustion, which is really great for stimulating the channel. But I'm going to start with some acupressure points, sort of local acupressure points, to give some temporary relief, move the chi and blood in the area, and then I'm going to move down the leg, which are points which help redistribute the energy along the channel, because often the pain is caused by either a deficiency of chi and blood or an excess. So I'm going to start with the Ren meridian. That's on the front of your body, runs up the front of your body, and this point, Ren 4, is on your lower abdomen. So if you use your hands to press into your lower abdomen, about sort of 4 finger widths below the belly button, if you just gently press in there, I don't have back pain today, but if I press into those points, then I can get to a point where I can engage that point. I can feel that that point is being engaged. Make sure that you're sitting in your seat with your back nicely supported by your chair and your feet firmly planted on the ground, and just press into that point for a couple of minutes. So you should do that with all of the points, just pressing in for a couple of minutes. And some of them may work better for you than others. The second point is on your back, and this is probably the hardest one to locate. I will leave a link below where you can see some images of these points on my website, and also find out some more information about telemedicine. But this point, bladder 32, you put your hands on your hips, you can feel your hip bones, and then in between your hip bones there's a kite-shaped bone called the sacrum, and the sacrum runs between runs down to your butt cheek, your butt crease. Must be a proper name for it. I can't quite think of it for now. But anyway, this sacrum has 4 holes in it, 4 foramen, and it's the second one down that you're looking for. So if you feel around that foramen with the flat of your finger, you'll see that obviously when you press and it feels hard, that's bone, but then you'll find that your finger does drop into an empty space. Please don't use this point if you're pregnant or suspect that you may be pregnant. It's a very powerful point used in labour. It strongly moves chi and blood, ripens the cervix and progresses labour, so do be careful with that. The next point is on the gallbladder meridian, and it's on your flank, halfway between the side of your hip and your butt crease. If you imagine that the top of your thigh bone is here, and if you hook your thumb into the side of your groin, move your hand round to this point here, which is a bit of a dip. Once you've roughly located that point, then you can get in there with your thumb. You will really notice when you are engaging that this point is very different from pressing into the fleshy bit. So you're sort of looking for a spot that's between the bone and the muscle grouping there. It's in a seam. Gallbladder is related to, psychospiritually, to decision making. It's about your body's physical flexibility and your mental flexibility. So, you know, if you're having to make lots of difficult decisions, then this is a really good point to help support that function. The next point is bladder 40, and this is a sort of classic point that almost every acupuncturist will use if they're treating lower back pain, because you know, pain is caused by either a deficiency or excess of qi and blood, and then these distal points, rather than sort of treating them immediate area, are much more to do with redistributing the qi and blood in the meridians. So either with both hands on one leg, or you could use, you could go bilaterally, but you're looking for the midpoint. So if you sort of clasp your thigh and then either use your index fingers to press together or your middle finger, and just press very lightly to start with, and then just be aware if you're engaging the meridian at your lower back. You can start to press in a bit deeper until you feel that engagement. Don't press so far that it hurts the back of your knee, but just keep going, and then again you can hold this point for a couple of minutes. The next points, 2 points, are often come as a couple. One point is on your kidney meridian, and the other point is on the spleen meridian. The spleen meridian, one of the functions of the spleen meridian is to raise qi. So this point is good to use where the spleen meridian just doesn't have the energy to lift that qi through the lower back. And spleen deficiency is very common in our society. It can be caused by overthinking, constant worry, and through poor nutrition. Poor nutrition can come for lots of reasons, not just not eating enough of the right food. But that's one of the points. I'll tell you where that is in a minute. And the second point is on the kidney meridian. This point is on your inner leg, just above, about 2 fingers above the ankle bone. So if you find the high point of your ankle bone, and then the Achilles tendon is the one that comes up the back of your leg, and then so if you find the edge, the inside edge of the Achilles, and then between the ankle bone and that tendon there's a groove. So just run your finger up there, a couple of finger widths, and you'll come to a point again, you know, if this is your stuff, then it's a real sweet point. And I can already feel my sort of fight-flight response, the limbic system, just calming down. Kidney is really about the limbic system, and the emotion associated with it is fear. All emotions have their place, but fear transforms into wisdom. So the fear emotion is the trigger that tells you, you know, something needs to be overcome or something needs to be avoided. But you know, our modern world, sitting at our desk, we're often in constant fight-flight mode, and this can really mess with our energy because we're not running and we're not overcoming physically. We're having to do it mentally. So this can be a really great point for just stepping down that fight-flight response, and it will, because the kidney is related to the bladder, which runs over the lower back, then this will help with that kind of pain. Spleen 9 is just below the knee, so if you come up the midline of your inner leg and follow the groove between your calf muscle and the bone there, you might actually find that this whole area feels quite tender towards the top. And so, you know, spleen chi deficiency is one of the things that I struggle with, and so for me to massage this point is really good, because one of them, actually the point just below stomach 9, stomach 8, is called Earth Motivator, and so that's a really great point to get you going if you're a bit stuck because your spleen chi isn't rising to the centre. So, you know, for that spleen energy to rise beyond your lower back to your centre will help you feel a lot more grounded. But anyway, spleen 9, the one that's just below the knee, is quite a big point. So you can massage that area or just press it in quite intently for a couple of minutes. That's the one associated with raising the chi through the lower back. And then the final one I have for you, bladder 62. This one is on the outside of the ankle bone. So if you locate the ankle bone, find the high point of the ankle bone, and then come down off the knobbly bit, so that whole ankle bone, you come to the edge of the ankle bone, and then about half an inch below that, again you'll find a really sensitive spot if that is what needs treating for you. And the bladder is about the willpower. So again, you know, if you're sitting in fight-flight and responding to fight-flight stimuluses, but you're just sitting down all day, then that is going to really mess up the energy in your lower back. So yeah, that's the points I have for you today. I hope that's of help. Don't forget to have a look at the link to the images below, and do get in touch if you would like a session of telemedicine. Okay, take care. Bye bye.